This is a production of Cornell University.
But what I'd like to do is today is I'm going to talk about the course objectives, and I'm going to talk about some logistics stuff. I'm going to talk about the field stuff that we're going to be doing, as well as the labs, some of the objectives of lecture, as well as some of the objectives of lab, course requirements, exam schedules, all that type of stuff, and then introduce you to us, introduce you to soils, and then I'm going to tell you a story. And that's basically what we're going to do today. All right, I also have, if we have time, we'll have a little exercise. I originally wrote that as homework, and then I realized that was not what I should be writing. I'm going to start with the right kind of language. Okay? All right, so if you guys don't know it, you guys are in 2600, even though it's typoed up there as 260. We have basically three course objectives. The first course objective is basically to provide a better appreciation of the distribution and variability of soils and their properties across the landscape. This is Introduction to Soil Science. The title of the course is actually Soil Science. This course is a very, very large river, except it's about 3 inches deep. Okay? We're going to be talking about a lot of different aspects of soil science. Okay? But we're not going to touch too deep on anything. But we want you guys to get an appreciation of what the nature of soils is, what the properties of soils is, and how we interpret them. Okay? The second objective is that interpretation, a knowledge of how these properties are created, what makes these soils, okay? How they affect the landscape and the process of the landscape, both at the large scale and at the small scale. And that's probably the last time you'll see me do large scale this way and small scale this way, okay? Does anybody know what a large scale map is versus a small scale map? This is our first lesson of the day. Has nothing to do with soils. Has to do with math. Terrible. Large scale is 1 to 1. It's a big number, 1. Versus small scale, which is 1 to 200,000. Small fraction. Okay? Totally counterintuitive, but just so you know that's what we're talking about. Okay. The next thing that we're going to be teaching you guys to do is going to be a lot of tool use today. Not today, this whole semester. We're basically going to be teaching you guys a preliminary ability to investigate these soil characteristics. So a lot of tools, a lot of technique type of stuff. And finally, which I think most of you are really more excited about, maybe, hopefully, is an understanding of how we manage these properties, how we manage these soils for a multitude of different objectives. Whether you're an engineer, a farmer, a homeowner, a road builder, lots of different uses for these soils. Okay, makes sense? Okay. Okay, expectations. This is the bad part, good part of the class. Bad part of the class is down right in the beginning there. Expectations. Cheating and plagiarism is not acceptable. What can I say? It's not acceptable. If you do it, we will catch you, and you will go straight to the chair and the dean. I'm not dealing with it. It's happened in the past. I am not dealing with it. You guys shouldn't have to deal with it either. Okay? Don't do it. This is a class that you don't need to do it. Okay? Now, just to give you one little more piece of why you shouldn't do it, basically all of your submissions, any kind of academic thing that you're handing in to us is going to be electronic. And we're basically going to run it through the screener. Okay? So just don't do it. Okay? Okay. Yeah, all right, cool. All right. But I will say to you, from our point, this is the better part of it, we are really committed to this class. This is an awesome class. We think it's an awesome class. It's up to you to judge, but we think it's an awesome class. We love soils. We like being here. We really want you guys to appreciate these soils. And I haven't looked at everybody's major at this point, but the majors that I've seen that you guys are associated with, soils is very important to you whether you know it or not. Okay, and I'm hoping at this point you probably do know it already. Okay, soils are really cool. And we want you guys to have the skills and the knowledge and the ability to be able to take advantage of that. Okay, of all of us, while we hope everybody, so I changed this, I said this, yesterday they said good time. At which point I realized I'm not supposed to say that anymore. So I hope you all have an enjoyable experience. Okay? We want you to have an enjoyable experience. Okay? We expect everyone to fully contribute as well as participate in this course, okay, and in life. I will say attendance is mandatory, both certainly in the labs and hopefully in lectures. I'll see you all the time. I understand that accidents occur and things arise, okay? I will not be taking attendance. I won't be taking attendance, but there will be activities in class that you will have to do that your name will be attached to, okay? Things happen. You had a bender the night before. God forbid the cat died, whatever, okay? Please come to class. I know it's... There is also, the next section is the laboratory section. All the laboratories for the entire semester are online, okay? I do expect you guys to have those copied and read by the time you come to lab. You don't necessarily have to bring the copies of the lecture notes, because you can keep that on your computer or whatever. That's fine. But I do expect you to have a hard copy of the lab notes when we go into the field. It's hard to take the computer into the field. Okay, labs will be outside, so I expect you to wear appropriate clothing, but more importantly, I expect you to wear appropriate shoes. I really don't care if you come in a gold lame evening dress, but you will be wearing army boots or something appropriate, i.e. closed-toe shoes. No flip-flops, no sandals that don't have toes that are closed, no high heels. I have had them all. I do not want them. You will not be getting on the vans if I see those on your feet. Okay? Also, when we are in the lab, there's glassware. Things get broken. There's needles. There's all different kinds of stuff in the labs. I don't want inappropriate footwear. Okay? All right. Labs will be at least 3 hours long, so be prepared. Bring something to drink, and if you need, bring food as well. Okay? The lab TAs will love you for it. No, I will too, because I don't have to listen to. I have 2 kids at home that they get thirsty all the time. We have like a gallon of water in the back of the van, and that still doesn't help. Okay? Please bring water. Grades. The grades are basically broken up into 2 components. One is the lecture component, and one is the lab component. Can you guys all see that? Hopefully that's big enough. The lecture is basically 60% of your grade, and it's based on 3 prelims or 2 prelims and a final, as well as attendance and participation. The 2 prelims are worth 15 points each. The final is worth 20. And then attendance and participation is 10%. Okay? It's going to be harder to do participation here, but it won't be that hard to do attendance. Okay? The lecture, or the laboratory, there are quizzes and reports that are associated with the labs. Okay? There are going to be, I think, 12 labs total. 8 of them are basically outside labs or somewhat outside. Okay? Not all the labs have a report attached to it, and some of the labs are multiples. So there's a series of events that happen over a couple of days, or a couple of weeks, I should say, and there'll be one report at the end of it. Okay? But there are reports and quizzes associated with those. Okay? You'll also notice that participation in attendance is 10% here. So basically 20% of your grade is showing up and opening your mouth every once in a while. Cool deal, huh? Okay? But you will note that this is attendance and then participation, and this is participation and then attendance. If you don't show up, you've already lost. Okay? We do expect you to participate in these labs. Ask questions. Support your fellow students. Do things. There's a lot of stuff that you guys are going to be doing. Okay? Questions so far?
This has been a production of Cornell University, on the web at cornell.edu.